In just 12 months, home prices in Southwest Florida have fallen by as much as 18.6%, the sharpest drop since 2008. And if you're living, investing, or planning to retire here, you need to know. A second wave of price drops could hit right before spring 2026. In this video, I'll show you the 5 cities falling the fastest, where many homeowners have already lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the one place that still holds real opportunity for smart buyers. No rumors, no hype, just real data, real stories, and the truths the media won't tell you. Do you still think Florida is paradise? Watch until the end, because today might be the day you wake up. 5. Punta Gorda, the broken paradise of Southwest Florida. Punta Gorda, once the envy of America for its skyrocketing home prices, has now become the symbol of the hardest crash in Southwest Florida. The peaceful city by Charlotte Harbor, once praised as a dream retirement paradise, is facing a harsh reality. Home prices have dropped more than 30% in just 1 year. The latest Redfin report shows the median price hovering around $400,000, and homes that used to sell instantly now sit on the market for hundreds of days. If you still believe Florida is a place where prices only go up, Punta Gorda will wake you up fast. Just by walking along the canals around Punta Gorda Isles, you can feel the change. The faded for sale signs flutter in the wind. Silent homes sit under the sun. No sound of construction hammers or agents calling clients anymore. A year ago, people were fighting to pay above the asking price. Now, homeowners are cutting tens of thousands of dollars, just hoping someone will walk in for a viewing. A couple from Ohio once bought a 3-bedroom home here for $620,000, believing it was a safe investment for retirement. Today, they're listing it at $15,000, and still, no one's asking. That's not an isolated story, but the reality across the region. According to ResiClub Analytics, since the 2022 peak, home prices in Punta Gorda have dropped 18.6%, inventory has risen 70%, and the average selling time has exceeded 100 days. The once booming market has gone cold. The reason isn't just interest rates. After Hurricane Ian, a wave of delayed construction projects finished all at once, flooding the market with supply. Meanwhile, home insurance nearly doubled, living costs soared, and short-term rental demand fell sharply, forcing many Airbnb investors to pull out. Weak demand, oversupply, and prices started to plunge uncontrollably. But this crash isn't entirely bad. In fact, it's bringing Punta Gorda back down to earth, back to real buyers. After years of speculative price inflation, now retirees and middle-class families finally have a chance to own canal-front homes that once were only dreams. And for many, that's a long overdue fairness the market should have delivered long ago. Interestingly, as prices fall, Punta Gorda is returning to its true nature, a slow-paced, safe, and warm community. The people who stay aren't here for profit. They're here because they truly love this place. They don't buy to flip, they buy to live. And it's that group of people who are keeping this city's heartbeat steady amid the storm of recession. As the market comes back to reality, real values, good location, well-kept homes, tight-knit community begin to shine again. Some say Punta Gorda is collapsing. But if you look closer, this isn't a crash. It's a necessary cleansing. The market is stripping away illusions and keeping only what's sustainable. Those who once believed real estate only goes up are now learning patience, while those with long-term vision understand that moments like this are when opportunities emerge. A canal-front home today can be $100,000 cheaper than 2 years ago. And if you buy smart, you're buying at a real, grounded price, not a bubble. Punta Gorda, the broken paradise, is teaching us a costly lesson. No paradise lasts if it's built on greed. But if you choose to stay, live slowly and mindfully, this place remains one of the few in Florida that still keeps its true soul. Peaceful, warm, and deeply human. And now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Punta Gorda? Is this the bottom or the rebirth of Florida's housing market? Leave your comment below and share your perspective. Because maybe your story could help someone make the right decision at the right time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because the truth about real estate deserves to be told honestly, directly, and early, before it's too late. 4. Sarasota, the cooling jewel of Florida's Gulf Coast. Sarasota, often called the jewel of the Gulf Coast, is now experiencing a rare autumn in its real estate history. After years of dazzling growth, when home prices soared uncontrollably and sold signs appeared within hours, the market has slowed, steady and rhythmic, like the waves hitting the Siesta Key shore. According to Zillow, the median home price in Sarasota now hovers around $411,000, down nearly 10% from a year ago. Across the entire county, the median sits at $390,500, more than 10.2% lower year over year. For many, this looks like a soft landing. But for homeowners who bought at the 2022 peak, the fall has been anything but gentle. In the Palmer Ranch area, I met the Hendersons, a couple from Michigan who moved to Sarasota in 2021. They once believed this would be where they'd spend the rest of their lives. Warm weather, quiet neighborhoods, close to the beach and hospitals. They bought a 3-bedroom home for $610,000, paying nearly $10,000 a year in insurance. 3 years later, they decided to sell because they could no longer handle rising insurance and property taxes. The house was listed at $599,000, but after 4 months, even at $545,000, no one had made an offer. "We don't regret coming here," Mr. Henderson said. "It's just that Florida isn't the same dream we thought it was." That sentence, "Florida isn't the same dream anymore," captures the feeling shared by many across the region. In the neighborhoods around downtown Sarasota, for sale signs are beginning to fade from standing too long. The average time from listing to closing has now risen to more than 70 days. And what's shaking the market even more? 84% of all current transactions are closing below the asking price. One home in Southgate, once listed at $490,000, finally sold for $425,000. Another canal front home near Bee Ridge, listed at $515,000, closed at $460,000. The list keeps growing every single week. Heading farther north, across the bridge into Manatee County, the more populated Bradenton area, the picture looks the same, only clearer. The median home price in Bradenton now sits at $351,000, down 7.7% in just 1 year. 80% of sales there close below the asking price, and homes now take over 60 days to sell. But Bradenton still has one quiet strength. Its cost of living is about 2% lower than the national average. That's why more middle-class families and retirees are moving here, looking for real value, not inflated dreams. The big shift in the Sarasota-Manatee region isn't just about numbers, it's about mindset. From 2020 to 2022, Sarasota was the destination of dreams. Blue beaches, art museums, and luxury communities. But every dream eventually wakes up. By 2025, with Florida's average home insurance hitting $6,000 a year, and storms like Ian and Debbie leaving deep scars, many homeowners have learned a hard truth. Real value isn't in profit. It's in the ability to stand firm through the storm. According to the Sarasota Manatee Realtor Association, RASM, the market is shifting back to balance. Buyers have more choices, and sellers no longer hold all the power. A veteran agent in Venice said, "This is the time of cleansing. Those who truly need a home are buying. Those who speculate are pulling out." It's a painful but necessary process, just like a gem needs to cool down before it shines again. In reality, Sarasota is still a gem. Only now, its glow isn't as blinding. For young buyers, this is the moment they can finally afford their dream home without inflated prices. For older adults, it's a chance to rebalance their finances before retirement. And for wise investors, it's time to seek properties with true value. Even with prices down 10%, Sarasota is still 50–70% higher than in 2019, proving that this region still holds strong intrinsic vitality. People call Punta Gorda a paradise of broken dreams, but Sarasota is different. It's not broken, it's awakening. After the long storm of price frenzy years, Sarasota feels like someone waking up from a beautiful dream. The light is softer, the breathing slower, but the heart still beats steadily. And perhaps that's exactly what the market needs most right now. Clarity. What about you? Do you think Sarasota is declining or simply returning to its true rhythm? Leave a comment below and share your perspective, because maybe your story could help someone avoid repeating the mistakes of Mr. and Mrs. Henderson. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. Because truth in real estate only has value when it's spoken clearly, honestly, and early. 3. Naples. The paradise of the elite, cracking. Naples, Florida, once hailed as the backyard of America's millionaires, where Rolls-Royces line Fifth Avenue and Gulf Coast sunsets reflect across multi-million-dollar villas. But behind that glittering facade, a crack is gradually appearing. Home prices in Naples, once the pride of Florida's West Coast, are starting to cool. According to Zillow, the average price in September 2025 dropped to just $549,000, down 7.8% over the past 12 months, while over 91% of transactions occurred below the listing price. Those numbers make it clear, even paradise cannot escape reality. In Park Shore, I met Mr. and Mrs. Linton, both over 60, who moved here from New Jersey after selling a small business. In 2021, they bought a single-story bayfront villa for $1.8 million, believing that Naples is the ultimate retirement spot. But after Hurricane Ian, insurance premiums soared, nearly $12,000 per year, and maintenance for the pool and garden exceeded $2,000 per month. "We're not poor," Mrs. Linton said, "but living here now feels like slow bleeding." They relisted their home in early 2025 for $1.6 million, dropped another $100,000, and still had no buyers. "Nobody wants to pay big money for a house where insurance costs more than the luxury car," Mr. Linton said, half joking, half serious. Their story is just one slice, but it reflects the full picture of Naples today. This city of 385,000 residents once saw prices soar up to 75% from the COVID-19 2020 peak, far surpassing the state's average increase. But by mid-2025, storm clouds began to gather. As the Federal Reserve keeps interest rates high, luxury homes suddenly become burdens, not just because of purchase prices, but due to insurance, taxes, and living costs that are double the national average. A dinner in downtown Naples can cost $150. A coastal condo insurance policy, $8,000, $10,000 per year. While the wealthy can bear it, the middle class, those who worked to climb into upscale areas, are gradually being pushed to the outskirts. Naples is a unique market. It doesn't crash loudly, but quietly slides down, luxurious yet cold. Villas listed at $35 million still shine. But homes around Golden Gate or North Naples are seeing prices drop week by week. According to Zillow data, the average time to sell a property here is now over 100 days, nearly double last year. The total market inventory has reached over 5,400 homes and continues to rise each month. This is a clear sign of oversupply in the wealthy segment. What makes Naples different is its resident class. The median income here is about $140,000 per year, while the average reaches $295,000, more than double the state average. In a city where over 90% of residents live above poverty, the real estate market cannot collapse like Cape Coral. But precisely because of that, the adjustment in Naples happens slowly and steadily. Sellers don't need money immediately. Buyers aren't in a rush. This luxury market is like a slow dance. Beautiful, expensive, but sometimes out of reach for real people. However, even amid this expensive landscape, there are still bright spots. In East Naples, the average home price hovers around $420,000, 25% lower than downtown, attracting a new wave of residents. Remote working professionals, younger retirees, and families leaving Miami in search of a quieter life. Naples is still livable, a local agent said. It's just that now, people have to live more realistically. In fact, this 7 to 8% adjustment is healthier than many think. It's not a crisis, but a necessary step back after a period of inflated growth. Fox Business calls it a mild cleansing of Florida's luxury market, and Naples is on the right track. Prices are down, but quality of life remains unchanged. Beaches are still blue, streets are clean, communities remain safe, and that is exactly something money cannot buy more of. Naples, the paradise of the elite, is cracking slightly. But like any gem, that crack only allows the light to reflect in more dimensions. For discerning buyers, this is a rare opportunity. Owning a home in one of America's most expensive cities at the moment when prices are at their softest in nearly 5 years. For sellers, it's a reminder. Don't cling to the 2022 dream, because the 2025 market waits for no one. And for us, the observers. Naples is the clearest evidence of an age-old real estate law. Every dream, no matter how lavish, must return to reality. What do you think? Is Naples losing its glow, or merely seeing itself in a truer reflection? Share your perspective in the comments. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so more people can see the true face of this cracking paradise. 2. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, the cheap dream fading on the Gulf of Mexico. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, the heart of Lee County, was once called Florida's cheap paradise. During the pandemic, it became a nationwide frenzy. With just $300,000, you could buy a house with a yard, garage, and pool, something that would be a luxury in California or New York. But now, that picture is changing. According to Zillow, the average home price in September 2025 is only $300,500, down more than 10% over 1 year, and nearly 14% from the 2022 peak. In a place once called the hottest market in the US, by the Wall Street Journal, people now simply say, "It's really crashed." I remember meeting the Alvarez family, a couple in their 40s from Chicago, who bought a 3-bedroom house in Cape Coral in early 2022. At the time, they believed they had struck gold. The house cost $375,000 with a 3% interest rate, just 15 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico. "We called this the Florida dream," Mr. Alvarez said. But then Hurricane Ian swept through, damaging the roof and doubling insurance costs, from $3,200 to over $7,000 per year. When interest rates soared and his part-time job was cut, they decided to sell. 6 months later, the house still had no inquiries. "We don't want to take a loss," she said, "but we also can't hold on to it." Their story reflects the experience of thousands of households in Cape Coral today, trapped in their own dream. According to Fast Company, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, is now one of the fastest declining housing markets in the U.S. By the end of 2024, home prices in the area had fallen 13.7% from their peak, while over 8% of homeowners were underwater, meaning they owed more to the bank than their homes were worth. More than 77% of transactions are currently selling below the listing price, with the average time to sell reaching 71 days. That number was only 20 days in 2021, a dramatic reversal. What caused this cheap paradise to turn into a declining market? There are three major cracks: storms, interest rates, and unrealistic expectations. After the superstorm Ian in 2022, thousands of roofs were damaged and infrastructure suffered heavy losses. The prolonged recovery process led to an influx of new homes at the same time as demand dropped due to rising insurance costs. On top of that, mortgage rates of 7%, something many 2021 buyers had never imagined, turned the market from red hot to frozen. Fox Business calls Cape Coral a prime example of the cracks in America's middle-class housing market. And they are right. Unlike Naples, buyers here are not wealthy. They are teachers, engineers, drivers, people who once believed they could live the Florida dream on a real salary. Currently, the average price of $343,000, only half of Naples, is still insufficient to retain new buyers. Cape Coral has a population of around 210,000, but jobs and average incomes are much lower than in neighboring areas. When the economy slows, residents here are more vulnerable. And when the mindset of sell to cut losses spreads, the market freefalls. Business Observer Florida reports that the average price across the region fell 3.7% in just the past 12 months, even though the peak selling season has passed. Natural disasters are only part of the story. Insurance costs in Florida now average over $6,000 per year, but in Lee County, they can be more than 30% higher. Some insurance companies withdrew from the area after the storm, forcing residents to buy through state-backed providers at double the cost. On top of that, HOA fees, repair costs, and rising living expenses mean that cheap is now just an old promise. And the sad truth, the boom from 2020-2022 created a bubble that makes today's drop even more painful. Prices rose up to 75% in just 2 years, and thousands of people from the north bought homes without ever setting foot here. They bought online, believing Florida would only go up. Now, some are trying to exit, but no one is willing to pay the prices they once did. Yet, amid this quiet scene, there is still a bright spot. Cape Coral remains the most accessible housing market on Florida's west coast. For those looking for a buying opportunity, this could be a rare chance in the past 5 years to get a quality home at a fair price. The market is clearing out, and when the frenzy passes, the patient will be the winners. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Florida's cheap dream, is fading slowly. But when the waters recede, you can see who truly stands firm. What about you? Do you believe Cape Coral will rebound? Or is this a warning for the entire state of Florida? Share your thoughts below, and if this video helps you understand the real picture, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because in this market, knowing early is surviving. 1. Bradenton, where the ground hasn't shaken, but the wind has changed. Bradenton, the city along the gentle Manatee River, was once described as Sarasota's quiet little sibling, but now that calm is changing color. According to Zillow, the average price in Bradenton is only about $351,600, down 7.7% from last year. More than 80% of transactions sell below the listing price, and the average time to close a sale has stretched to 61 days. No more bidding wars, no more price locked in an hour. Bradenton is returning to the market's true rhythm. I met the Burns couple, in their 50s, who moved from Illinois in 2021. They bought a 3-bedroom house for $370,000, and 3 years later, its valuation is only $340,000. But they are not panicking. "We didn't buy to make a profit," Mr. Burns said. "We bought to live." That statement captures the essence of Bradenton: practical, calm, and without illusions. The market here is still healthy. The sale-to-list ratio is 96%. Inventory is around 2,100 homes, enough for buyers to have choices and sellers to have opportunities. Redfin classifies Bradenton as moderately competitive, meaning the market is stable, not at the bottom, but no longer overheated. Bradenton's greatest advantage is its affordable cost of living. The cost of living here is 2% below the U.S. average, while rents are only about $1,900 per month. Florida has no state income tax, so retirees and middle-class families alike see Bradenton as cheap enough to live well, close enough to enjoy Sarasota's amenities. Bradenton's population is growing rapidly, from 399,000 in 2020 to nearly 467,000 in 2025, with a median age of 49, of which 28% are over 65. But interestingly, 35% of households have young children, meaning this city is not just a retirement spot. It's a place where a new generation is truly seeking opportunities. Migrants from New York, Chicago, and DC continue to move here, looking for a balance between cost and quality of life. And although Bradenton also faces high home insurance costs, averaging over $6,000 per year, unlike Punta Gorda or Fort Myers, it is less directly affected by storms, so the market does not plunge into crisis. The 2024 RASM report calls Bradenton a safe haven during the adjustment period. Currently, home prices in Bradenton are only about 22% above the national average, meaning they are still reasonable within Florida's market. This is not a place for speculation, but a place to live long-term, stable, and real. Bradenton does not promise you wealth, but it promises peace of mind. So what about you? Will you chase the wave or stop where the wind has changed? Leave a comment below and hit like, subscribe, and share if you believe. The market only collapses for those who don't know when to stop. Home prices in Southwest Florida are coming back down to earth, faster than anyone can adapt. But this is not the end. It is the moment the market filters out illusions, keeping only real value. If you are living, selling, or preparing to buy a home in Florida, remember, don't follow rumors. Follow the data. Because in real estate, the cautious never lose money. Only dreamers pay the price. What do you think? Is this an opportunity or a warning? Share your thoughts below and hit like, subscribe, share. Because the truth about this market deserves to be spoken clearly, early, and to the right audience.